boys and girls, I'm rolling up the sleeves. I actually have like 5 or 7 minutes from our previous engagement that we tried to have. This is a rescheduled one. I appreciate him coming back, but all of that, put it aside. Today's a new day. This pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Matias. I love Matias. Thank you for coming in, my man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Don. Things didn't work out last time, but we're going to knock it out of the park tonight.
We are, man, because again, today's a new day. And, I know we kind of spoke about it a little bit, but I want to double check here because, again, today's a new day. Minute by minute, hour by hour, things have changed across the globe.
Yeah.
Yourself, the fam, everybody good through this whole COVID thing? COVID,
Dude,
you see what I did
dude.
there?
I see, and I'm waiting for the shirts to come out, man. I'm waiting on those.
You're not the only one to say that. Maybe I should really print some of them things.
Oh, I think, yeah. You get some sales. Get on Pro Wrestling Tees or something. But no, thank God. Thank you for asking, Don. No, everybody's good. Had a little bit of a scare with my mom not feeling too well like 2 weeks ago, but she got the test, came back negative. So everybody's good for now. We're holding on strong, trying to stay safe, and be responsible. How about on your end? Everybody safe? Everybody doing well?
Yeah, everybody's good. I'm out there. I don't call myself essential because I mean, please, I'm Donkey K, but they call me essential because we're in the food business. So I'm out there, dodging, weaving and stuff. But I
Yeah.
wash my hands, I wash my ass, and I make sure I do it pretty regularly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But suggestion: wash your ass first, then wash your hands. It stays a little more sterile. Uh,
Oh, I'm losing you for a second. Hold on.
that's okay. We're
Okay,
back.
hit
Okay,
me.
hey, that's the intertubes. You got to work with
It
it.
happens, man.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
raining now. Who knows if that has anything to do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Russian satellites are probably hacking my shit right now.
Dude, get under the desk, Kincaid.
But again, just wanted to reiterate the hands and the ass. You want to go ass first, then hands because it stays a little more sterile.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
And if possible, make a sandwich. Hands, ass, then hands again. You get what I'm saying? Keep yourself safe.
You know, a great PSA from one Matias to us to fans. Yeah, hands, ass, hands. Oh, I'm changing it all up now. I have totally changed my whole regimen.
There we go.
Yeah. Enough about my skinny ass, though. Matias, I love you to pieces. I've grasped onto your character from fucking day one, and I don't mean to drop the F bomb, but I gotta make sure that I put the exclamation point on that one because you know what, man? My dad, I think he liked you a little bit better than I did at the beginning because we had a rocky relationship at the beginning. We'll dive into
Yeah.
that later. But we're talking ring prowess. I loved watching you in the ring. You were hanging out with some Nutrius X. You guys
Mhm.
were really, I always called it fluid. That word fluid always came to mind when I saw you or him or together in the ring. Oh my God. I love you guys. And I know I kind of sound like I've done the Kokana, but I'm very excited to have Matthias on this show right here. I mean, this is kind of freaking me out a little bit because I've loved you from day one. We talk character, we talk wrestling, we talk Matthias, we talk sterilizing the hands, the sandwich, if you will.
There we
Because,
go.
yeah, woo, enough of that though. Matthias, how long? Because I've been very curious. You're a young guy. I don't think you've been in the game very long. This might surprise you. Your answer might surprise me. How long have you been in the game, my friend?
Okay, that's an interesting question, and I always have kind of like a difficult way of like explaining it in few words to people when I'm asked. So basically, I've always wanted to be a wrestler. So obviously, you got to wait until you're 18 to sign up to schools. I mean, I know nowadays if you get parental consent, whatever. So I waited till I was 18, and then I signed up to New York Wrestling Connection over in Long Island. It used to be Mikey Whipwreck's place. A couple other guys owned it, and that's where I got my beginnings. Trained there for about maybe a year, a little over maybe a year.
Now,
Um,
can I
yeah,
pause you right there for a second?
absolutely.
Is that at Deer Park, New York, by any
Yes, sir.
chance?
Yeah, in the Sportatorium.
Dude, I've been there one time, and holy shit, that place is fucking crazy out there.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
it's awesome. I think honestly it was a good place to kind of get my first taste of indie wrestling because it's a place that's very how can I say it? It's got a good rep of creating stars that
Mhm.
go on to do great things on bigger stages, and for that reason, they get a lot of serious students. And at the time when I was going, you had the likes of like Alex. Reynolds, you had Johnny Silver, who are now on AEW. Those guys were training there. Johnny Silver was about, I think he's my age. So we were kind of, he had more experience than me, obviously, but they had a lot of cats that were really serious about it. So it was kind of like growing up in a Shark Tank almost, because to get on those shows was a privilege, you know what I mean? So it was pretty competitive, a lot of the guys, obviously, we were all friends. You know how it is, but it was definitely a lot more competitive than some of the other companies that I've worked for in my time.
Right.
So
And
yeah.
that competitive nature, though, brother or sister, friend or whatever behind the curtain, you get out there in the ring, you're still vying for your spot or to present your character in front of that crowd on that day. So it's always competitive.
Very much so, very much so. And to get my wet, because I'm from a lot of guys. Tony Nese, he gave me a lot of advice. Guy Papa Don, who I love that guy. Papa Don's awesome. He was older than me. He was one of the older vets in the locker room, but definitely somebody that I could turn to for advice. As long as the guys that I was being trained by. John Mayer, who recently passed away. Actually, he went by the name Crusher Dugan. God rest his soul. He passed away about a couple of months ago. So I owe a lot to him because he was a really good trainer, and really gave me what I would like to think is a solid foundation to go on and build off of.
Now, you name names, some of us do, some of us don't know them. But my point being is you've named a bunch of names. And that's what I find where the most creative, the most upcoming, the ones that stand out a little bit more than the others that don't get lost in the shuffle, those are the ones that really stand out that have had a touch of this person, a touch of that person. And it
Mhm.
makes that experience factor, that knowledge thing really come together, and it shines your character and your ring prowess at the same time. And it also gives you that tool because there's so many in wrestling. I mean, I
Mhm.
talk about it all the time. There's probably like a trillion out there. There's one of those tools though is connecting with us, the fans.
Mhm.
So again, seeing you for the very first time, it's always easy to say who's that guy, but by the time that match is done, is I can't wait to see that guy again. That's the thing, and my point being again, and I know I say that way too often in these things, because I ramble. I'm Kincaid, but
It's
uh,
your show, man. You do what you want.
but naming the names, getting that knowledge and everything, that really makes a package of a wrestler more so than maybe staying in one place and getting just that experience. Wouldn't you have to say?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if you look back at a lot of the careers of the most successful guys that we've seen in this business make the most money, they never stayed put. You know what I mean? Back in the territory days, it was, you got your training and then you're trying to take over whatever territory you could, take over, get out and branch out. And, a lot of guys, you know what I mean? You go to Japan, you go to blah, 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 you may be in the business for 8 years, but if you keep moving around, you're always learning so many new things. So I think it's very important for people to know when it's time to move around. And that differs depending on everybody. Everybody's got their own pace. And you also don't want to get out there before you're ready, where you could possibly maybe injure somebody or something. So you got to know when to branch out and kind of, talk to whoever is training you and see how they feel about it. But definitely important in wrestling and wrestler development.
Getting in the ear hole of some of the men and women, trying to find out where that time is. Because, like you were saying, if it's too early and you want to get froggy and jump out there and think you can do it, without having the necessary tools all, in your bag or whatever, you hurt yourself. You hurt the people across the ring from you. You make bad relationships. You burn bridges. There's many things. That's a domino effect that can happen if you think you're ready, but you're really not.
Yeah, and you're also carrying the name of whoever trained you. So,
The
if you're out and about
representation.
and you're being a little reckless, man, that's like staining your last name and putting your parents to shame. Whoever trains you is kind of like your wrestling parent, in your development stages and possibly, they're on. So, yeah, I think it's important to know when it's right to go on.
Yeah, yeah, you have to, because I talk to a lot of the guys post interviews and stuff, and we have some laughs and stuff. But I've also had some serious conversations where, man, you could be young, you could be hungry, you could be both. But man, just settle. Pull it back a little bit. Don't try to get out there too fast. And don't try to
Mhm.
be a hero and something that you're not, man. Let that knowledge soak in. Let the experience and let the people that are helping you, let them help you, man. Kind
Yeah,
of let
yeah.
that really soak in, because it'll be so much better in the long run
Hmm.
in your career. And then
Hmm.
you'll be able to look back at the early years and be like, you know what? I wasn't a stupid asshole back then. I listened to the people who were trying to help me out.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, you'll see it pay off. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about branching out and getting different experiences, point of views, and at the same time, maintaining the basis of what you were taught. A lot of guys will completely ditch the most fundamental things that they learned. So yeah, I think it's not. You should have moved on before it's time to move on.
And to circle back to the representation of your company or the school that you have learned from. I'm going to use Test of Strength for an example. I know you're from PAPW right now. I'm going
Yeah.
to use Test of Strength for an example because I go to every single show. I've gone to a few of their training sessions by
Hmm.
invite. I don't just do the pop in. I've done interviews down there and kind of hung out for the sessions and stuff.
Hmm.
Really cool, man. I love that as a fan. Holy cow. Very privileged and honored to be part of those things, because you
Hmm.
get to see a different side of what's going on behind
Oh,
the curtain,
yeah.
if you will, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
but they talk about that. Mr. Slick Wagner Brown is always, always number one on when you walk out these doors and go to someplace else, you're representing us. Carry
Hmm.
yourself in a respectful way. Make sure you take care of all your wrestling etiquette. Help out with the chairs, help out with the ring, all of that good stuff if you have to. If it's that time and you're there early enough, do those kind of things, because again, you're representing Tessa Strength, you're representing Paradise Alley Pro and such. So that's a
Hmm.
very thing that I try to push out here, because I love wrestling so much and I never disrespect it, no matter if it's the promotion, the fans, the talent, because there's a line that has to be drawn between fan and all of that, part of the world.
For
Now,
sure.
Paradise Alley Pro, absolutely love that company. You guys put on some fantastic shows. You give us some great storylines. You give us some great characters, and that's where I first seen Mr. Matias. Again, I'm going to revert back to when I first saw you. Uh, Seeing you guys at the bigger shows before Friday Night Alley Fight came to head,
Hmm.
you kind of little chip on the shoulder, if you will. You and
Hmm.
Matias didn't give a crap what the fans wanted, didn't give a crap what we said, but you fed off of what we did as our reactions. That's a big tool in the
Hmm.
bag of being a wrestler. I'm questioning. how long did it take to develop that as a wrestler? Because it doesn't come from day one, and sometimes it doesn't come till year 6, 8, 10. You never know. So from person to person, it's different. I'm curious, when did you develop that tool of hearing the fans and connecting with it?
It's kind of first of all, thank you for appreciating that, but it's kind of weird for you to point that out in me because I feel that I'm still trying to master that and trying to work on getting better at that and kind of being in the moment rather than boom, 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 and not giving the people time to follow the story that I'm trying to tell in the ring. So it's really hard to explain. It's really hard to give you a pinpointed time where I felt boom. It kind of just, I don't know. It's just something that slowly develops and takes time, and you gotta just feel comfortable in your own shoes, and that's pretty much the name of the game in pro wrestling, and knowing who you are in the ring and being comfortable with that and not trying to be something that you think the fans want to see. You just got to be you. Because at the end of the day, we're all different. You know what I mean? If we just stuck more to our own internal roots, it'd be a lot easier to feel that comfort in the ring and be able to live in that moment. So, and again, like you mentioned, it's really important as a wrestler to be able to master that skill. Do I feel that I've mastered it? By no means necessary. I feel I've got a long way to go. But I appreciate that you feel that I am connecting with you, and hopefully I'm connecting with other fans.
Well, that's going to lead into something because, again, I would see you as a tag team. You and Nutrius, no matter where you went, you were on your winning ways. I really thought gold was coming, you guys. I really, really, really saw gold totally coming to you guys. To heck with the HOP. I had enough. And speaking of the HOP, I got them at last interview tonight at 8 o'clock, so I probably shouldn't talk too much shit, right? Anywho, but anywho, and I only weigh 35 pounds. Not a good look. But watching you guys, really, my dad, myself, I take my dad to all the shows. We both enjoyed you guys. Again, singles, tag team, always loved your character, always what you did in the ring. Didn't really bother me that I had to boo you. That's what it was back then. But my dad, he goes, he's going to kick your ass one of these days. I go, I think we know where our lines are drawn. So little by little, we would go to more shows. I would boo more. And then it got to a little more tighter setting. Friday Night Alley fight starts up. Holy shit, what a great time. First night is totally jam-packed to the wall. People are standing. I mean, there must have been like 100 people there in that small area. And holy shit, I have been going back to almost every single one. I think I've missed 2 the entire time you guys have been running. Now, myself and Matias, we kind of got this weird situation going on. I would boo him, and then he started connecting that relationship between fan and wrestler. And it didn't just wasn't me. I'm not saying that it was only me because he was connecting within that building, but me and him had a little connection, a little extra, because I was booing so loud and I would do it so screaming in his face. How he didn't just bitch slap me as he was walking by, I don't know. But that turned into you're paying for me kind of gimmick. And me and him started really having fun with it. And I started calling him the 250 guy because I would always yell at him, I paid half price, little do you know. And I would laugh at him. Now that I've kind of described our little relationship that we started building at Friday Night Alley Fights, look at you smiling. Wasn't that some fun time, sir?
There were definitely some fun times. Definitely some fun times. Let me just say you got more than what you paid for with your 250. All right. No. I definitely enjoyed those times. That was, like you said, back when I was tagging with Nutrius. And those were definitely good times. Nutrius and I had really good chemistry. Him and I have similar mindsets somewhat when it comes to what we want out of wrestling. Um, Unfortunately, things got backed up by my injury, which actually happened on the first alley fights. Um, so I tore a ligament in my wrist. And I really didn't know for, I want to say maybe like a month or so. I just thought it was just something that was bothering me, maybe awkward sleeping on it or something. Um, and then it turned out I had torn the ligament, and I think I wrestled for another like 3 months, and had my surgery scheduled right after the Mohegan Sun show that we did because I really wanted to wrestle there.
Mm. Now, my dad, anytime I say, like, he'll ask me because he doesn't pay attention. And even if he read what the card was, he's going to forget by the time we get into the car.
Mm.
So he would ask me on the way, so who's fighting tonight, or who's on the bill, or who's on the card? And I'll start naming names, and we'll be driving to East Haven, and I'll say the name Matias. He says the same exact thing every single time. Who? And I go, 250. He goes, oh, I fucking love that guy.
Well, hey, he likes to watch, so let him pay his 250. You know what I mean? To come by, you make $5. You know, I wish it was a full price, but hey, 250 is better than nothing, right?
uh, Again, we grasp right onto what you're doing in the ring, what you portrayed as a character, the whole heel bit. That's what I was used to. Now
Mm-hmm.
you have an injury, you come back, and it's a little bit different from Matthias. And I
Yeah.
almost kind of like, you know what? I see what he's trying to do here, but I really like screaming at him. I liked him screaming at me. We can't do that thing anymore. So we're going to have to find a different way, and to have some more fun with Matthias. So take us through, because I was just talking to, oh my God, about injury. Bobby Ocean, just had him previous to this interview. Love Bobby
Yeah.
Ocean. We were
Well,
talking injury. Now you've been through an injury. How hard does it hit a person, an athlete, if you will? How hard does it hit you to be like, do I continue doing this? Is it worth going after I fix this? Is it worth going back, getting in the ring, and possibly down the road getting injured again or re-injure myself again? Talk us to the fans, because we don't know this stuff. We sit on our asses and we watch from the TV or we watch from our seat as a fan. So as a wrestler, take us through that kind of journey if you could.
yeah, you know, it's interesting that you point that out because that isn't something that's really talked about that much. And it's hard, man. At first, you know, I've had injuries before. My last injury was a torn meniscus in my right leg. It was like the third surgery I had on it. So I've been used to the injuries, but unfortunately, this torn ligament was a lot worse. I was in the cast for about 4 months, and I had like metal pins sticking through my wrist. So it was definitely, man, it was probably the most painful thing I had to endure in my life. Like physically, like it sucked. It really sucked, man. And it did definitely made me question, you know, do I want to go back and possibly have this happen again? Because it very easily could happen that first night back. You know, it can happen at any time, at any given moment, anything can go wrong. And sometimes, as it was with my wrist, sometimes it's the smallest little thing that can do it, you know, and set you back so far, not only physically but like financially. You know, surgeries are not cheap. We have to pay for these things out of pocket, so nobody helps with that. And it's definitely a lot to put on the balance scale and weigh out. But I love wrestling, man. I live for this shit. You know what I mean? Like this is you know, the other day I found I found some yearbooks from when I was younger, and I found my yearbook from when I was in fifth grade, you know, graduated from elementary school, and I find my picture, and under my picture, you know, it says favorite color blue, you know, future career WWF, then superstar. You know what I mean? Like that's what I wanted to do my whole life, and I can't imagine just, you know, living a regular life without being in the ring. I can't, you know. But what I will say about the injuries is that if you can learn to just accept it and know that it's out of your hands, you can really do some awesome some awesome things on your off time. Not only does it give you the time to build on other things like your relationships with friends, family, work on, your other side career or something, you know what I mean? Just things that you don't normally have the time to do. You're forced to not feel that you should be, oh, at the gym. I can't. I'm in a cast. Did I not do anything to stay active? I had to, otherwise I would have just it would have been harder for me to get back into shape. But you're so limited that you can only uh, just accept it and use the time wisely. Be productive in other ways, and I've actually noticed that for myself. Time away from wrestling can actually help me get more in touch with who I am as an individual. It's so the wrestling world is so busy and it moves so fast, and there's so many guys out there that you meet on the road, and you're doing so many different shows. You're here one night, you're here the next night, so it's like around so much wrestling that it almost at a point becomes like on a subconscious level a monkey see monkey do type of thing, and you start to almost pick things off of just things that other people are doing, and it's just not who you are. And so for me, my personal opinion is time away from wrestling can kind of help me get back to knowing who I am, my own individuality, so that I can bring that back to wrestling and exploit that.
I've heard the word recharge used in wrestling a very lot. When you pull it back a little bit, even if you just have to take a break personally for whatever's going on in your life, just taking a little bit of time to recharge, sit back, because wrestling, man, to be a wrestler, there's so many sacrifices along the way to becoming that. Never mind the physical things that you do to your body when your body is yelling F you and you're yelling back F you, we're doing this. Never
Yeah.
mind that whole portion, getting this right. But you make sacrifices because, like you're saying, wrestling doesn't stop. It doesn't shut down. There's no vacation. There's no 16 game season. There's nothing like that. There's no Super Bowl and then it's done and then you wait 6 months and come back. Wrestling
Hmm.
doesn't shut down. So
Exactly.
it's an ongoing sport that, again, I say this so much on this show. It's the most unique thing that I've ever run to in my life. I'm not a big sports guy, but damn, do I love wrestling. It's so unique more than anything else in the entire world because of
Oh
some of
yeah.
those factors.
Oh
But the
yeah.
sacrifices that you make could be family, could be things with your kids that you didn't get to go see after a school, for a school thing, but you had to go work in the ring. Um, so getting back to your injury and taking the time for yourself, very not detrimental. That's the wrong word. Very valuable in your career as a wrestler, don't you think? Because now you've taken that time to reflect on, okay, what have I missed? What do I got to catch up on? I've got to take care of this or that or what have you. So it's a very valuable thing to just sit back and reflect a little bit, huh?
Oh, definitely, definitely. You need to, like you said, recharge. And that is, a perfect word to use. Got to learn to just go with the flow. Because like you said, wrestling is nonstop, and sometimes injuries are the only way that you'll take a break. So it sometimes can be a gift from God, and I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. That what's meant to be will be, and yeah, that's all we can kind of really do.
Now, coming back at 100%, not everybody does that. They want to come back when they're 60, 70, 80%,
Mhm.
to hurry up and get back in the ring because they think that they're going to lose their spot or the fans are going to forget them, or because, hey, wrestling, one day you're here, one day you're not. I mean, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
out of sight, out of mind, and like you said, wrestling keeps going. So just like anything in life, it keeps going with or without you. So, a lot of us do feel the pressure of, oh, I need to get back there, or you see somebody else get an opportunity that you say, maybe that could have been me if I didn't get injured.
Yep.
But hey, like I said, if it's meant to be, it'll be, and opportunities will come back around. You just gotta be ready for it when it comes knocking, or be there to knock it down.
I didn't mean to kind of stick on the injury part of this because I don't talk a lot about it. But when I run into somebody that has had an injury, especially as recent as you have, and then come back, um, I like to get the mindset because, again, we fans don't know what it's like to have to get hurt, persevere, and then come back. And again, in the back of your mind, day one, getting in that ring, uh, this could happen right now. I hope I don't F up my wrist again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it can happen at any moment.
Yeah, any moment.
And yeah, at any moment. So, and you know what? This is the way I looked at it, right? When I was kind of, I wouldn't say doubting whether I wanted to come back, but when those thoughts of like, do you want to go through this pain again, started coming up, I would just think maybe I don't go back to wrestling, but then I'll slip on ice and break my ankle getting out of the car one day. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, you get one life, man. You get one life. And as long as you protect yourself as much as you can in the ring, don't do anything too stupid, which is really hard to do. You know what I mean? You just got to go for it, man. Because at the end of the day, that's man, it makes you feel like you're living with purpose. You know what I mean? When you're going for something that maybe other people wouldn't have the courage to pursue because of things that, the pain or the sacrifice or whatever. It's just, I'm in this, man. And like I said before, I live for this shit.
Now you come back, you're looking fantastic. You kind
Thank
of
you.
got, you look Matias like. Uh, Nothing, not a whole lot has changed, but you changed the whole upstairs thing about it. You didn't come out, and we weren't booing you. We were cheering because you came back, and you were feeding off of that. And wrestling, it's either heel, face, good guy, bad guy for the most part. Sometimes
Hmm.
you can find the tweener, if you will, and get away with it.
Yeah.
But man, you come back and you're a good guy. I looked at my dad. I go, "What the fuck is going on now?" I go, I wanted to yell shit at him. I've been waiting for him to come back. And the first thing I got to do is cheer for him. What are we doing here? He goes, "You better not boo him now. He'll really kick your ass." uh,
No, I mean, I think that day you realized that you wanted to like me the whole time, and you finally got the opportunity to.
why the switcheroo, if you will? Because we talk evolution of character on this show. I love the intrigue of a character and how it evolves over time in one's career. Why the switcheroo when you come back from injury?
Ah, I'm happy to be back, man. I'm happy. I'm happy to be back in the ring. Well, not right now because of what's going on, but you know what I mean. When you're gone for so long and something that you love so much and that you're so passionate about is taken away from you, you know, all you think about is getting back in the ring, and it's like impossible to come back and not have a smile on your face, because it's like being reunited with your true love. You know what I mean? It's something inexplainable. Yeah, and the fans make it so. You know what I mean? Because without the fans, as you're seeing on TV, wrestling ain't wrestling. You know what I mean? It ain't the same. It ain't the same. So, yeah.
I, I tell you, ever since you've come back and we started cheering you, that hasn't changed a beat at all. The entire PAPW fan base, and not just them, because I see what you're doing up there at XWA, man. XWA
Mhm.
is a great time. I love XWA.
Oh yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah. I love XWA.
you're having good times up there too. Uh,
Oh, definitely.
Now I'm gonna get to what's been going on in the championship aspect of PAPW, but let's revert up to XWA. Now you like to spread your wings. That's what we do as wrestlers. Well, not we. Don't. I'm not trying to say I'm a wrestler. I would never get in the ring ever. No.
Hey,
But
you're spreading your wings. You're diving to other, projects and whatnot. I respect it, Don.
no, no, no. Could you imagine me getting in the ring with like the House of Pain and a tag team with somebody? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that might be your first and last match, Don.
Exactly. See, that's why we don't do that game.
No, it's not.
Yourself, you can you start spreading your wings, and I know you've probably done it before, but you go up to the XWA. I'm very familiar with the XWA. Love them guys up there. Everybody up there. Love the whole vibe, the building, how
Oh
they
yeah.
have their cool setup, and you get the nice entrance and stuff.
Oh
Talk to
yeah.
us about the XWA. How did you get connected up there?
I actually got connected with them through Jose Perez. Goes by Jose Perez. I think, when was it? I think it was like the year 2016, maybe. I'm really bad with like years and whatnot. Yeah, but it's been a few years or something. He got us connected and hit up myself and Richard Holiday and said, "Hey, you guys are more than welcome to come down. We'd love to have you." And the rest was pretty much history. Started going up, and at one point we were pretty much up there like every week, if not 3 weeks a month. And let me just say, XWA is a great place for people to spread their wings. They have a weekly show. They have this pretty much the same fan base goes every week. So it's kind of like, you don't really get that anywhere else. You kind of get monthly shows, and you got to spread out your bookings and that in that sense, and see where you can fill dates up. But you can always count on Thursdays at XWA in Rhode Island, and that place really has helped me get more comfortable in the ring. As we spoke about before, that being able to live in the moment and kind of think before you do. That place has definitely played a big part in that. Jose has definitely helped me. Mike Antonucci has also helped. Definitely guys who have helped me. With opportunities, knowledge, and just yeah, great place to work, man. Great place, and as you mentioned, the production is just bar none. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's awesome, super
The,
crisp.
the setup is so cool up there. And I've had one Jose Perez on
Eh,
this show, and I'm
oh,
gonna.
I'm losing you. I'm
Oh,
losing you.
that's okay. You'll come
Go
back. You'll come
ahead.
back.
Go ahead. I got
There
you.
we go.
I got you.
I've had Jose Perez on the show, and I
Okay.
love me some Jose Perez. There's a couple things I want to point out. He's a big fan of yours. I don't know if you know that or not. Jose loves him some Matias. First off.
Yeah.
Second off, uh, that whole building was bare bones when they walked in there, okay? They were
Yeah.
looking for a building and
Yeah.
they wanted to get a wrestling thing going on.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
first thing that Jose put in there was the drop down mic. The entire setup was built around that one microphone.
That's an interesting fun fact. I didn't know that. All those
Yeah,
times that I've been up there. Yeah, and that mic still remains there.
isn't it awesome?
It's so awesome, man. That whole place, like I said, and again, back to Jose Perez, man. I owe a lot to him because he's helped a lot, and not just at XWA. He will message me on the side, just randomly see how I'm doing. Just an awesome person to definitely have in my life.
Yeah. XWA, for the boys and girls that don't know, I've talked about it a bunch of times. XWA Center, it's West Warwick, Rhode Island. I
Yeah,
hate saying that. Um, it's 3 Bridal Ave. And fans, if you want to go up there, I was taking 2-hour rides once a week, every single Thursday, sometimes on a Saturday. So twice a week I was going. I would leave work, go get my pop, hit the highway, take a 2-hour ride, do the show, take a 2-hour ride, come home at like 12, 1 o'clock. But I'm telling you, it was so worth it. I did that for like 5 or 6 months straight, Matias. Holy cow. As a
oh
fan,
yeah,
it kind of wore me out a little bit. So I had to pull it back with the
yeah.
traveling so far all the time. But
Okay.
I never regret it. But I'm so ready to go back and see me some XWA. I miss it so much.
Oh, dude, me too. I miss going up there, and because of the shoot life and whatnot, having to balance things out. I can't get up there as much as I used to.
Mhm.
But like I said, when I was going up there every week, man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think an interesting thing to point out is like, dude, their Thursday shows are $5, and like you could literally see a guy wrestle there that Thursday, and then the next week see him on NXT 205 Live. You know what I mean? AEW, like it's ridiculous. Like the level of talent that you can see pop up, and it's just like sometimes it surprises, you know. And it's like they won't even tell you that so and so is going to be there. You know what I mean? You're there, you're watching the show, and you're like, holy shit, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an awesome place. I love it.
So you're still, because of the holy shit moments, you're still a very we talk passionate about of being a wrestler and wrestling, but you're still a fan. It seems
Oh
like, right?
yeah, dude. I mean, we all got to be fans, you know. Who can honestly say that they're wrestling without being a wrestling fan? It's, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you do it then? You know, why
Mm,
would you beat yourself up if you're not on TV getting paid the big bucks? Why are you doing it if you know what I mean? If you, I
yeah.
don't know. You know, you
No.
have to on some level. You don't have to be a fan of whatever product is on TV, but if you don't enjoy wrestling, like, you know what I mean? So if you're not a fan, you got no heart. But yeah, definitely got to be a fan. Um, I love NXT. I love watching their product. It's super crisp, and just like I'm all about the finer details and catching things that maybe the I don't know, maybe most fans wouldn't, just because I do wrestle and whatnot. So I appreciate the product that much more. But yeah, I'm all about being a fan when I can. And that's the reason, as you mentioned before, the oh my gosh or the holy shit moments. You know what I mean? That's what drives us to be passionate about this. You know what I mean? Those entrances that make give you goosebumps. Surprise returns. You know what I mean? Big wins, moments. You know what I mean? Moments. That's what it's about.
Now we're speaking moments, and I'm gonna touch upon two moments. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Again, if you don't know, boys and girls, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling out of East Haven. They do Friday Night Alley fights, $5. Excellent time. They do some bigger shows, a little bit more bucks, even better time. You never know what you're gonna get. But my point being is, I love talking about and remembering, because I don't got that much of a brain left. I only got maybe one or two cells left, so I can
Mhm.
only work with so much. Uh, so the moments that I remember, I call them, like we watch WWE, those big moments in history and wrestling. I
Mhm.
like to remember moments in our area, in our industry, like our local stuff, because one of them I'm going to touch upon right now. Holy shit. Matias comes back, and he's the fucking champion of PAPW. He wins the big belt. He grabs the brass ring. He is the champ. We lost our shit, my friend. I want to know, because I'm a fan. Love me some Matias. Love PAPW. Love how everybody responded. I would like you to be on the opposite side of that spectrum, as the guy right in the center of it as it's happening. How are you giving? How are you taking all of our adulation, all of our holy shit, all of our you won the belt? Take us through that kind of a moment, because I know how it is for me. Is it
Mhm.
kind of on the same spectrum, or is it even a little bit better?
Uh, I I think it's a little bit better, Don. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, to go through everything that we go through, and to know that not everybody's gonna be Michael Jordan. Not everybody's gonna be Kobe Bryant. You're not always gonna be the first choice, and the guy that people bet on. So to be a guy that has had to prove himself wherever he goes, and to have that brass ring, so to speak, waved in front of my face so many times, and to never actually be able to take advantage of that opportunity and get into that spotlight. It Especially after the injury that I went through, man. And it's just been such a long roller coaster of a ride for me when it comes to PAPW. And it was so sweet. And to have everybody that was there, people like you know what I mean? People who have been through it all, who have seen me in my different stages, that was super sweet. And Yeah, I'm just super grateful for the opportunities that PAPW has given me as well, because that is the place that I consider home now, and I owe so much to that place as well. As I mentioned before, I was first trained by NYWC, and I'd like to think that that's where I got my technical foundation when it comes to in-ring work. But PAPW and Paul Roma are the reason why I was able to understand the psychology of this business and of the way a match should go and the way to tell the story the right way. I owe so much to Paul, Mancini as well, Mario Mancini, Paul Perez, Big Steve too, because he does a lot for the company. But Paul has really played a big role in helping me understand um, when to do what and why not to do certain other things that a lot of guys just don't understand unless they're taught by somebody who not only has been there, done that, but maybe was there during uh, the earlier stages of the business where it drew bigger money. You know what I mean? And guys like Paul Roma, they just have such an understanding for this business and psychology that it's invaluable. To be able to be there.
Now, learning from a couple guys who've been in the WWF, both of them, Mario Mancini, I mean, all of them pretty much, but
Mhm.
on a different level, you've got Paul Roma, you've got Mario Mancini, been in the ring a ton of times in the WWF.
Oh yeah.
Again, both in their own rights. But that experience being passed down to the young men and women that I've seen in PAPW coming rising up as stars. And I'm going to start, and I know you've been in it. There's Nutrius and some of the other guys, Richard Holliday, who is a mainstay, who's moved on to MLW,
Oh
but still
yeah.
comes back home and hangs out at the Friday Night Alley fights. I love that part about it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but I'm talking like right now, you've got the Haven, Dustin Waller, Zach Gibbs, these young, like really younger
I'm losing you
guys.
down. I'm losing
That
you. Hold
that's
on.
okay.
Hold on. I'm
We're
losing you.
coming back.
Oh,
We're coming back.
really back?
Yeah. I-
All
You've
right.
got the guys like Dustin Waller, the Haven, Zach Gibbs, the younger guys that are coming in. You could see that PAPW is doing something right because it's not only the people that have been in the business for a little bit or a lot of bit that are in PAPW that are getting something out of it, but man, them students, man, you guys are creating some great talent. Uh, who do you have your eyes, and I to slight nobody else, but I just like to kind of gauge it a little bit. Who do you see that's going to be like, I could see that kid on TV, or I could see those guys on TV that you're seeing in PAPW right now?
Um, well, let me just start by saying that, all those guys that you mentioned, they're all really dedicated kids who they're always there at training, always trying to learn and better themselves. And they have a really good heads on their shoulders when it comes to respect. If I had to pinpoint a guy, I'd say Dustin Flashwaller. That kid, he's just so athletic. He's so how can I put it? Like he doesn't think too much about it. He just goes for it. Things that I would maybe think about doing, try maybe, and then maybe like, yeah, maybe I'll stay away from this. He'll just go for it. You know what I mean? He's just so fearless. Maybe because he's so young, and he's just so athletic again. And I think that he's such a great kid. I think that's one of the biggest qualities that he has is that he doesn't let his natural talents go to his head. He's never somebody that you're going to hear boasting or thinking that he's better than anybody else. Super humble kid, keeps his head down, doesn't really get in anybody's way, and super skillful. I think he's going to go a long way. And I think a dark horse that I got my eye on is Kylon King.
Oh, Kylon King. We know Kylon King. Yes, sir.
Kylon King is going to be something to keep your eye on. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be good stuff. Give him a little time. He's got that natural charisma. He's athletic. As you could tell, he stays
Mhm.
fit, and he's just got to keep working, and he'll be there. And and yeah, he'll be there.
Boys and girls, if you're not familiar with any of the names that we've just mentioned, just hit the rewind button. Look them up on Facebook. Look them up on the Twitter. You won't regret it because, again, some fine men and women coming up in the dungeons, the trenches, if you will, of PAPW, learning the craft and making their way up. I can't wait to see what the future brings from those younger generation wrestlers. I am so intrigued to see where they go. Now, back to second holy shit moment because I skip around. I'm Don Kincaid. I'm not that bright. Second holy shit moment. Matias is in a match. Vlad comes out. Uh, Shit goes south real quick. It turns into an entire melee. It sounded almost like the old school WCCW days when the Von Erichs and the Freebirds would come out and the crowd would scream at the top of their effing lungs. That vibe, my friend, was there. Look it. I got goosebumps on this skinny little ass arm of mine. That night, that's what you guys brought to the table. It was crazy. It was chaos. It was mayhem. Okay. Holy shit moment number 2. And I've got a number 3, and we're going to bring it to the tail end of this little thing you got going on with Vlad. Vlad beat you for the PAPW championship last show. I didn't want to bring it up, but it's got to be said because it's part of history. So he comes out, shit goes south. You're like, what the F is going on? That's the end of that show. Then we move on to the next big show where you kind of didn't keep your title. I hated saying that. I really hated saying that. Where you didn't keep your title. Take us, the fans, through a little journey of that, if you will, please, because that seemed like a rough couple shows for one Matias.
Yeah. To be honest, Don, it was really unexpected. I truly don't know why he did it. I still have no idea. He hasn't explained himself to myself or anybody that I know. I've tried to get answers. I've talked to his brother. His brother doesn't really know what's going on. Whenever he brings up the subject to him, he, I guess, gets a little uneasy and doesn't really, entertain the idea of discussion. So I tried going that way because we really were is like big emphasis on that. We were really good friends. And I'd go over his house. I didn't even have to tell him I was going or knock on the door. I just park my car, walk in. And the same went for him. He could come to my house anytime. Um, Unexpected again, super unexpected. He is not somebody that has been making the wrestling rounds for years.
Mm-hmm.
When you win the top prize, you expect to, and I hate the cliche term of having a target on your back, but that's what it is. Everybody's coming for your spot. We're in the business of competing for spots, and nobody wants the top spot more than the guys under the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing to get there, it's another thing to stay on top. But to be attacked by somebody who I could have never expected, A, because he was like a brother to me, and B, because he's not even wrestling anymore.
No,
He just
well,
he came out of the freaking kitchen, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he came out of the kitchen of the venue and hopped the railing and jumped me. You know what I mean? It's like, did he have to do it that way? You know what I mean? Like, look at the size difference. You know what I mean? Like, he could have just came straight head on head collision. We could have done this man to man, and you know what I mean? The odds are in his favor anyways.
mm-hmm.
So like, it's like there's so many levels to this that I don't understand, Don. So unfortunately, I hope, I don't know, somebody can further explain to me one day so that I could explain to you, because I don't really have all the answers to that. You know what I mean? That side of things.
Mm.
And yeah, he beat me. He beat me. He came back out and he power bombed me again on the apron, and then he left. And then he came back out again and power bombed me on the apron a second time. I spent the night coughing up blood. I'm lucky I didn't have to go to the hospital with cracked ribs, but you know what I mean? And then have to worry about another injury, time off, money out of my bank account. Dude, it hasn't been a good time for me recently in PAPW. Um, the day I can make more sense of it done, I will hit you up and fill you in. But
Okay.
I really don't have all the answers to Vlad's situation. All I know is that I'm not letting this be the end of it.
Now that's where I'm gonna go to, because again I have a couple more interviews. I could talk to you for hours, and whatever we didn't talk about, I would hope later in the future that I could get a follow up, because I always have so many questions after the fact that I can't fit in because I don't write nothing down.
Oh yeah,
But hopefully in the future maybe we can reconnect and get a follow up, and I can get more out of you.
yeah,
But I hate to leave it on a note like that, because I know it's leaving a bad taste in your mouth. With what we've got going on, when we can get back to some kind of normalcy, whatever that is going to be, and we can actually get back in that ring, have some fun and whatnot. You're not looking to have fun. Is Vlad, do you have like laser eyes, tunnel vision? Is that your only thing going on right now? Wrestling, when it all gets back into the swing of things, it's Vlad, 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 nothing else. I want my belt back. I want a piece of Vlad's ass. Is that where you're at right now?
Don. There's nothing on my mind more than finishing what Vlad started. Um, is it gonna happen in one night? I don't know, man. I hope so, because I've had enough of it, man. I don't know what his is. Again, I want to find out more about it. It might be the key to ending this all. When I come back, make no mistake about it that I'm coming straight for him. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't do it now because we're not in a ring. I'm a bigger man, and I'm not gonna get my belt back that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get back to business, when we get back in the ring, and we can make that bell ring,
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't know what's gonna happen, Don. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's even gonna be wrestling.
Ooh, uh, wow, great little, cryptic message there. Now, if I might add, because we have a different relationship now. I can almost, think we're kind of amanos, if you will, just a little
Yeah.
bit, from friend to friend. Size difference. Vlad's a giant monster. You're really not. My suggestion: take a bat, wrap some barbed wire in it, slam him right in the ding ding. Uh, you know, Kick him in the mouth. He's gonna drop. Pin him. Get the championship back. We can cheer for you, and we can have a champion we can be proud of, because we do not want to see Vlad on top of that mountain.
I don't want to see it any more than you do, Don.
Hey,
Trust me. I'm serious, man. I, at this point, I'm open to any and all suggestions. Uh, Dude, yeah, yeah. If we gotta make some calls, we gotta make some calls. But we're gonna take care of business.
hey, me as a fan, I can't wait till that happens. I hope there's more than just my dad and my dog that watch this. So some of the fans that are watching this, and if it's just those two, I apologize. My fault. But if there's fans out there that know Mattia, that love Mattia, that are seeing this right now, we got to start a petition or something. Let's bug Mr. Mancini or somebody in the higher ups. We've got to get this finalized. And I know I'm going to speak upon something real quick before I let you go. We just saw, and it kind of turned into an outdoor thing. It started inside, then it went outside. It was Big Jim versus Bull Dread for the IC Championship. And
Yeah.
wow, holy shit. And I know there wasn't any fans there or anything. Ref Bill was there. I wish he would have got knocked around or knocked out or something. That would have made me happy. But Ref Bill was there. Now, I know I'm not suggesting that you guys should do some kind of empty arena thing, but I'm just saying it's got to be more than a traditional wrestling match. Mr. Mancini, Mr. Paul Roma, Mr. Perez, Mr. Steve Tracy, Big Steve Tracy. I implore you as a fan of PAPW, I am begging you, let's be able to see Matias pick a barbed wire bat and maybe swing for the fences and hit Vlad right in the ding-ding. I would love that. That would be amazing. I'm not saying, hey, hardcore is my favorite thing to do, but if that's what it takes, like Mr. Matias says, I say we do that. Just saying.
Hey, Don, let me just say, at the last show, Vlad got to embarrass me in front of a lot of people, man, because there was no honor in what he did and the way he did it. He could have taken his ball and gone home once the bell rang, and he pinned me 1, 2, 3, but he didn't. So he made me look really bad that night in front of a lot of people, and I don't think giving him what he deserves when there's nobody there to see it is just. All right. I think everybody needs to be a part of this.
I can feel that. I can definitely feel that because I want to feel that emotion from both of you when that is all going down because, man, I don't want to miss that. As a fan, I don't want to miss that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen, Don. Trust me. There's no way I see PAPW moving on when things get back to normal without this being settled. I don't see it. I don't see it. And if that's the case, then I don't know if I have any business being in PAPW anymore.
Hopefully we get this situated in the future. I can't wait to see what the future brings for us, the fans, and PAPW, the whole championship landscape, because now it's changed. Not for the better, gotta say. I hope the future can bring us our champion back. And it's not you, Showtime. Don't think I'm talking about you. I'm talking about my man, Matias. Matias, right. I cannot thank you enough for spending the time opening up because that's what we do here. We try to dive a little bit deeper. We don't get too personal, but we like to get a little bit deeper behind the curtain. And I can't thank you enough for spending the time and talking to us, the fans.
Dude, Don, again, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's been, again, a long time coming. Hopefully we get to do a follow-up, like you said, sometime down the road, a part 2 maybe. Hopefully we get back to normal and get to see each other at shows very soon again. Because, hey, I miss you heckling me or cheering me, whichever of the two makes you happy.
Hey, I cheer for the good guys. I boo the good. I cheer for the good guys. I boo the bad guys, and that's a formula that I take. Okay. And when you came out and you were a good guy, my dad says to me, "How come you're not booing them? What the hell are you doing?" I go, "The crowd is cheering them. I cheer the good guys. It is what it is."
Hey, I came back and just happy to see everybody's face again. Happy to be in the ring, and we're gonna keep rocking and rolling very soon. All right.
Yeah, I can't wait till that time comes, Matias, because we love wrestling. We miss it so much. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, the one who's going to slam some barbed wire bat into the ding-ding of one flat.
Right in his ding-ding.
Yeah, right in his ding-ding. My very special guest, Matias. Thank you so much, my friend.
Dude, Don, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And tune in for the next episode of Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid.
Ready to fight.